All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are very delighted and privileged to have with us some of the biggest stalwarts of the healthcare industry. They are true pioneers in the pharma industry, and we are truly honored to have these true legends with us and to have them grace this occasion with their honorable presence. So without much further ado, let's make a thunderous round of applause as I now invite onto the stage Mr. Sudarshan Jain, Secretary General at Indian Pharmaceutical Alliance. Mr. Jain has over 40 years of experience in building business, brands and teams across pharmaceuticals. He has been very instrumental in shaping the healthcare policy and improving healthcare access in India. He is also a guest speaker at IMA, IMC, and NMIMS, that is Narsi Munji. Let's give a big round of applause for Mr. Sudarshan Jain, everyone. Sir, can we please request you to share some few words with us? Yes, sir, please.
So good evening to all of you. It's indeed my pleasure to be here, and thanks to Sushant and the team to invite me. More important for me, it was to hear Alok, and it was such a pleasure and honor for me, Alok, to hear you, because it gives me the perspective of what pharma in future. Thanks also to all of you to invite me and listen to me at this time of the day. We like to make it very focused, very exciting, and I like to share with some of my experience, both at a macro level, what is happening around India, around the world, get it to the micro level where Alok left, and give some perspective of the future of marketing. I'm looking forward to this session.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite our next speaker on stage, armed with more than 30 years of experience in the Indian pharma industry. Our esteemed speaker is currently serving as a senior advisor with the Boston Consulting Group. Can we please have a big round of applause as I now invite on stage Mr. Sujesh Vasudevan, Independent Director at Eris Life Sciences. And now may I please invite Dr. Mahesh Abhyankar to please join us on stage and take forward the proceedings of this session. Let's give a big round of applause for Dr. Mahesh once again, ladies and gentlemen.
I think we all heard about from Alok Malik. So when I see one legend here, two legend here, so there is a phrase called as Divyatvachi Jetha Prachiti Tethe Karma Azezulat. So I'm going to put some questions so that we get insights from the wisdom what all have gathered throughout the years. So I will start with Mr. Sudarshan Jain. I think since morning we are hearing about the digital adoption. It was a knee-jerk reaction during the COVID time. But from your insight, what do you feel that this strategy can be a sustainable growth strategy for the future?
You must have heard a hell of a lot on digitalization, but maybe let me start with a basic question, which I hear every day because I tend to interact at all levels. First is, let me congratulate all of you, the kind of role which all of us in pharma industry have played, because India supplied medicine to more than 200 countries around the world. We were able to make sure, so let's congratulate ourselves. Let's give a big round of applause. When everyone was working from home, all of us were working either in the factories or making sure that the medicines reach to the patient. And we were also connected with our doctors. So it is a phenomenal work which raised the prestige of India in the eyes around the world, wherever I go, whether I go to WHO, WTO, all the organizations. We also set the vision for this industry, that this industry will be one of the most prestigious industry, IT and pharma will play a very important role, and it is the industry of pride. As Prime Minister Modi always says, that pharma industry is not only asset to India, but to the world. This industry is $50 billion. It will go to $120 billion by 2030 and $450 billion by 2047. Right? Both domestic as well as global markets will play a very important role. 50% is global, 50% is domestic. We earn $17 billion of foreign exchange every year. We make difference to this country. And every day, all of us, wherever we are making difference to the patients and making difference to everyone, not only in India and around the world. So it is again a moment of great pride. So if someone asks me whether I will redo whatever I have done, I will say certainly yes. When Alok was saying whether pharma industry will again be the future, according to me, this decade is going to be for India, and this industry will make a difference to the world. So we can pat ourselves back. There are questions, the whole marketing will undergo a fundamental change. And I will put some of the premises, some of the big question marks. So slightly I'm taking a time, Sujesh, but let me build slightly. So I've been teaching marketing over the years, and first of the thing which I say, marketing is business and business is marketing. That's the premise which I teach. I've been teaching 30 years. Kotler, I mastered it, but the Kotler has changed now, so I will build on that also. So marketing is business and business is marketing. There are three aspects which interplay of the forces of business. One is Samaj, second is Sarkar, and third is Bazaar. Samaj, Sarkar, Bazaar. We are concerned here with Bazaar, market. How do I gain market share, right? But there is a role of a society and there is a role of a government which serve as a empire, that whether industry or everyone is working as far as the whole thing is concerned. We did a great job in terms of reputation till the COVID happened. And still it is going on, but early phase of COVID, we supplied the drug. But some of the incidences and some of the roles which has got a lot of implication for marketing. I will raise that and then I will come to digitalization. Maybe Sujesh and me will build on it.
Forum is for you, sir.
So slightly I am taking it at a broader parameter because I came from Delhi. I was there, part of Alok has been part of that committee, high-powered committee, which is looking at marketing practices. So when I started my career in 1977, we used to talk of positioning, we used to talk of science, we used to talk of communication. When I left the operational part of marketing, the role changed कि उसको gift क्या देना है, पेन देना है, पेंसिल देना है, टीवी देना है, रेफ्रिजरेटर देना है, कंपटीशन बहुत बड़ा है, मीटिंग कहाँ ऑर्गेनाइज करना है, उज्बेकिस्तान में करना है, थाईलैंड में करना है, किस डॉक्टर को ले जाना है, क्या करना है, कैसे डील करना है. That became the focus. Instead of thinking, the role of a brand manager became more tactical. He was a thinker, right? We brought thinkers into the game, right? The whole approach, we call it digital marketing. Meeting कर रहे हैं, अब कौन सा मीटिंग का टॉपिक रखा है, क्या रखा है, कौन सा एंगेजमेंट चल रहा है, डॉक्टर को लेके आ जाओ. अब क्या हो रहा है, क्या नहीं हो रहा है, कौन सी मीटिंग का टॉपिक का रेलेवेंस क्या है. All those things started bothering me because I sit with some of the doctors. I'm part of that committee. I have to make some representation. किसी ने कहा हमें गिफ्ट अलाउ ही कर दो आप, 1000 रुपये का तो अलाउ करवाओ जैन साहब आप. ठीक है, अलाउ करवाओ, मीटिंग का इंटरेक्शन करवाओ, होटल में करवाओ. अब मीडिया मिक्स क्या होना है, मतलब ये डिजिटलाइजेशन का लेक्चर मैंने कंटेंट पढ़ा, सब बिल्कुल देखा. कॉन्फ्रेंस में एक चल रहा है, वो कुछ हो रहा है, ग्राउंड में जाता हूँ कि जैन साहब आपको मालूम नहीं है वो क्या कर रहा है, दूसरी कंपनी क्या कर रही है. मैंने कहा बॉस ये सब भूल जाओ, क्या कर रहा है क्या नहीं कर रहा है. there are certain parameters which have to be set, right? Because there is a society which is watching us. Society is watching that doctor. In noble profession, in noble marketing, has gone to a totally different direction. So the fundamental question when we are talking future of marketing, what Alok said in his presentation, उसने कभी गिफ्ट का कभी बात नहीं किया, आज के उसके पूरे प्रेजेंटेशन में मैंने देखा था। उसने कभी ये डॉक्टर्स मीटिंग उज्बेकिस्तान में करना है, ताशकंद में करना है, थाईलैंड में करना है, कौन से होटल में करना है, उसके साथ कौन सा लिकर है, क्या है, उसका बात नहीं किया, राइट? बट जब हम मीटिंग में ब्रांड प्लान में बैठते हैं तो वो बात दूसरी होती है। डिजिटलाइजेशन में टाइम है वो बहुत कम है, हमारा डिस्कशन में टाइम बहुत कम है। So how do we change this paradigm? I'm not part of the brand marketing plan at this particular moment, but I need to think that. Point number one. Point number two is India has to change in terms of growth parameters, and a lot is being done in healthcare. There are 100,000 doctors which are added every year. When I used to look at 40,000 doctors used to be added, but last 3 years we have worked with the government. Healthcare infrastructure is going up. Also, there is growth in wellness centers which the government is developing. 160,000 wellness centers which will come in this country. So there is a dimension of reach parameter which will undergo a fundamental change in this country, which offers tremendous opportunity for any market here. Are we looking at it? The channels are undergoing a fundamental transformation, and Alok knows it, and there are many friends who are here. We in IPA companies are working, how do we deal with channel transformation? There is disease transformation which has happened. There is a McKinsey study. Although the age has increased from 36 years at the time of independence to 72 years, but the number of people who are ill, 50% were there in 1947, 50% are there now. So the number of illness has increased, but the dimensions of illness have undergone a change. Now all these have got tremendous marketing implication, and the companies which are recognizing those implications, disease profile, how do you market the product, how you deal with it, and it is going to change further. Regenerative disease will come in, right? Value of the product will change. So disease profile is changing, reach profile is changing, customer profile is changing, patient profile is changing. And there is a tremendous opportunity for healthcare. And those who are in healthcare today, that's the most exciting field, according to me. And I see a future is great for anyone who is in marketing. So I will just set the context and come back to Sujesh, and then we will talk of digitalization and other things. Over to you. Sorry, I took slightly time, but this was very, very important.
It's a very broad vision is important, and we are proud that we will be a great career in the next 10 years also continuously, because as the vision Dr. has shared. Now I will ask Sujesh, because what is happened is that the decision-making process is not only with initially it was with HCPs, but now the patients are also starting that where I will take a medicine, or what kind of disease I am having. So decision making is shifting from HCPs to patient to some particular extent. So it is very important that the accessibility, affordability, adherence, all these parameters are important. Since you are the part of all this journey in the last 10 years, what do you feel that this technological adoption in the patients, already Mr. Alok Malik has mentioned, but your viewpoint about patient centricity in the digital?
Thanks, Mahesh. And before I take that question, I also thought that let me just try and add to what Mr. Jain just mentioned. I think our approach as the industry, I think that needs a lot of introspection in what exactly we're doing. Okay, he talked about the focus or the disproportionate focus on gifting and other CRM related activities, which forms a bulk of marketing spend today. And while all of us may have good intentions, but we always probably justify that by saying that competition is doing this, but I think we are all part of that competition, right? So, during the day, I was also listening to a lot of people saying that, we have created so many digital platforms, and we find a lot of reluctance by the doctors, to really engage on those platforms. Alok mentioned about, how difficult it is becoming for medical reps to get time with doctors. And overall, I think there is a lot of shrinking about the value that the industry is adding to doctors. And maybe that is the reason why we are looking at alternatives in the form of gifts or other CRM activities to engage with doctors, because probably we feel that that is more exciting for doctors, right? I think we need to question this whole thing again, because I don't see that, as we are consumers for so many products. We buy, so many different things, but for each of our buying behavior, for, if I buy a phone today, or if I buy some clothes, or if I buy shoes, I don't see any of those companies giving me any kind of incentives or foreign trips or gifts for me to buy those things, right? So why is it becoming so important for pharma companies to incentivize doctors to prescribe medicines, right? I think that's a question that we need to ask ourselves. And I think there is a need to create value, and why doctors don't engage with pharma companies on digital platforms is, I think we are not creating enough value for doctors to come on those platforms and stay on the platforms. So I think the issue is with what we are doing and not with what the doctor is interested or not, or if the doctor is not interested. So I think that is, that's really the, the key of how, we need to look at the future also. And this is an area which I don't have any ready answers to that. It's not easy. Otherwise, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But unless and until we address this question, that how as an industry we add value to the doctors. About when I started my career, the industry was genuinely adding value to the doctors. Because the doctors didn't have anybody else apart from pharma industry people for a lot of their needs, and needs as in genuine needs of knowledge. Today that need is being supported by direct access that the doctors have, and we don't have, we have not been able to create space for ourselves in the changed environment, right? Now, coming to your question on patients and digital engagement, I will like to look at it, in the continuum of care itself, of different areas that companies can help in engaging with patients in a digital platform. So if I look at awareness, diagnosis, treatment, and compliance, and if I look at these, these are the areas where we can really add value. For example, driving awareness about a certain disease or set of diseases is an extremely important area where pharma companies can play an important role. Today, patients seek information about diseases, and there are dime a dozen sources of information that are given to patients because of, you can always Google any disease. But how many of these are credible sources of information? How many of them have real scientific backing? Or are these just some information floating, and patients get influenced by that and go to doctors with that information, and are therefore not satisfied when the doctors tell them something different. So is there an opportunity of creating some very credible platforms which actually shares authentic and credible knowledge with the patients, and the patients can then trust that particular source of information, and therefore genuinely enhance their understanding about the disease and what they need to do and what they shouldn't do when encountered with a certain set of symptoms. So on the awareness side, you can build some kind of a digital engagement. I think diagnosis is extremely critical, and I think some of Alok's slides did talk about that how do you help patients catch the disease early? So if there is a lot of emphasis on diagnosis, whether it's in the area of hypertension or diabetes or encouraging patients to undergo regular medical testing. For example, annual medical health checkups are probably in vogue in the large metro cities. But I do not know how many of people undergo annual medical checkups in smaller towns. and whether pharma companies can play the role of a catalyst in encouraging patients to go in for these checkups, because it helps to capture the disease early, and in a maybe in a selfish way for the industry, it also helps to expand the market, because if you're able to catch the disease early, obviously you're getting patients into the treatment pool, and there's an opportunity that gets created for the industry to get medicines prescribed. Even on the treatment side, for last so many years, the industry has really focused on drug therapy. But globally, if you see, there is this whole concept of pill plus, which is catching fancy and attention. So how do we migrate from only pill to pill plus? So are there services that companies can provide to patients which go beyond just taking medicines, but can we treat the patient more holistically? And also in the area of compliance. So if I encourage patients to stay on therapy longer, it will also help to improve clinical outcomes. So is there something digitally that I can engage with the patients which encourages them to stay on therapy? So for example, I used to be with Glenmark for long, and during our experience of selling Telma, it's so surprising that lot of patients who are put on Telma drop out of Telma after, or Telma, any antihypertensive medication, once they see that their BP has come back to normal. So the feeling that the patient carries is that एक बार BP normal हो गया तो अब मेरे को दवाई लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. But those kind of patients are the ones who end up in ICU because of stroke or some other complication, right? So how do you encourage patients to stay on therapy, and how do you teach them, how do you coach them into the importance of these things? So I think these are some of the areas that digitally we can create platforms which help patients to improve any of these parameters.
I think this is a very, very important point, is that the patient is getting educated on this particular front on disease on its own because of the data which is available. I think Sudarshan ji was talking about the component of society as well as the government, right? So now there is a big issue of generic medicines, and just now the data is presented that there are companies having 2,000 crores of generic medicines. So what is your, is that generic medicine a competition for traditional pharmas?
Like in every market, there will be different set of products, different options which will be there. But I don't think till we get it to improved quality standards. So one, we talk to the marketing practices, and second concern area at this moment is the quality of the products. All of us have heard about Gambia and Uzbekistan. That has been a major concern of us now at this particular moment. Till we are able to sort quality standards, it will not, we are talking to the government that let's not get to genericization. Because at one moment, there was a comment and there was a policy initiative where Mr. Modi announced at Surat that doctors should start writing generic products. But our view is still we are in a consultation stage, that it is the brand quality products which are important till we get to the quality. Point number one. I would like to build on what Sujesh was saying, is marketing is common sense, and common sense is the most uncommon thing in the world, right? We make our task much more complicated. At the end of the day, why do we exist? The company exists and society, when I was talking, we exist for the patient, right? We exist for the doctor to help his patient, right? So the job of a doctor to help his patient, and we exist for patient. If we understand that patient better, and we help the doctor to help his patient better, there will be a lot of options which will emerge. And the way the day I come, even in a policy measure, when I come at the office, why does IP exist? Or why does organization exist? Why does Abbott exist? Is to help the patient and to help the doctor to help his patient. And the concept which Alok talked, concept Sujesh talked, and I know Sujesh has practiced in Abbott, and I will give some of the example because I've been a great student of learning whatever is there, is the continuum of care what he was talking about. It looks so simple, But if we start applying that continuum of care, awareness, diagnosis, treatment, compliance, and where does the therapy stand and where does my brand stand, and what I need to do, focus. Some brand, like a Thyronorm kind of brand, thyroid brand, my awareness and diagnosis itself is a focus. Where for a product like Augmentin, it is compliance and top of mind recall is focus. So the kind of approach which I will have for that particular brand is totally, totally different. And if we focus on that and design our whole marketing approach and spend a lot of time to understand where does continuum of care is there, what needs to be done. And I've got a simple model, ICU model, insights, content, and user interface. So what are the insights which are getting? Focus on the insights, design the content, and it is not necessary that we have to have digital for everything, right? एक ऐप लगा दो, अब कितना ऐप देखेगा डॉक्टर? उसका डॉक्टर का काम है ऐप लगाने का है, ऐप देखने का है कि पेशेंट को देखने का, right? So it is important for us, and that is most uncommon, right? सब जगह मेरे को डिजिटल डाल देना है, सबने ऐप कर दिया, सबको गिफ्ट देना है, सबको पेन बांटना है, सबको रेफ्रिजरेटर देना है, ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है, right? And great brands have been built up. मैं एक ब्रांड का सोचता हूँ, प्रोथाइडिन, हमारा एक एंटी डिप्रेसेंट बनाया, आज भी चलता है, 40 साल इतने अच्छे एंटी डिप्रेसेंट आ गए, पर किसी ब्रांड मैनेजर ने वो इंसाइट, कंटेंट, यूजर इंटरफेस पे काम किया। एक थायरोनॉर्म ब्रांड बनाया, थायराइड पहले तो बिकता ही नहीं था कुछ, फिर उसको डायग्नोसिस पे लाए, उसको स्ट्रेंथ पे लाए, एंड देन वी स्टार्टेड बिल्डिंग ऑन द ब्रांड। कोविड टाइम्स में आज ऑक्सीमीटर हर एक घर पे पहुंच गया, डिजीज का अवेयरनेस इतना बढ़ गया। नाउ वी आर सो फॉर्चुनेट टुडे that health has become a high priority for the patient, right? It is a high salience area. शैम्पू इतना salience वाला एरिया नहीं है, शैम्पू वाला इतना रिसर्च करता है इंसाइट ढूंढने के लिए, और हम कुछ नहीं करते। तो हम ये मार्केट रिसर्च पे थोड़ा एम्फेसिस डालें एज ए ब्रांड मैनेजर, थोड़ा हम इंसाइट को अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए डालें, थोड़ा अपना सफ़र करें इंस्टेड ऑफ पेन पेंसिल मीटिंग का देखने के लिए, फिर उसको देखें कि कंटेंट मेरे को क्या बनाना है, किस चीज़ पे, एक दो चीज़ पे फोकस करना है, एंड क्या मीडिया यूज़ करना है। और ये सिंपल यदि फॉर्मूला रखेंगे, ब्रांड्स आफ्टर ब्रांड्स, एक आज एक मोस्ट सक्सेसफुल लॉन्च नोवो नॉर्डिस्क ने लॉन्च किया है एंटी ओबेसिटी वाला, 150 करोड़ दे विल डू इन फर्स्ट ईयर। लॉट ऑफ वर्क ऑन अंडरस्टैंडिंग इनसाइट, लॉट ऑफ वर्क ऑन कंटेंट्स, lot of work on user interface. So if we have a simple formula, then whether digital is required or not, that's a different kind of thing.
So I think digital is one of the way of marketing. Coming to your very interesting point about apps, I think during the COVID time we have seen that I think India was having almost 10 crore COVID experts. Because they were taking the message and they were circulating the message, right? They were the message experts. So the question for Sujesh Vasudevan is that whatever data we are getting, at some stage is it a data overload, and that data overload can cause indecision. That is a second side for the over digitalization.
Yeah. I think, see, you're right that today, because of technology and because of so much of data coming in, that there is a tendency for people to get lost in data. But I think at least the way I would see it is that if your question is that how does one prevent, getting lost in data, then I think it all boils down to the objective with what you're approaching the issue. So if your objective is clear, then you will choose relevant data to suit that objective. But sometimes, we are not clear about the objective, and therefore when we start analysis, we keep accessing different sources of information that we have got. So we look at IQVIA, we look at CMARC or SMSRC, we look at internal statistics, we'll talk to a few doctors, we'll talk to a few reps, and so we are all over the place. But if I think it all starts that if I'm solving or trying to solve a problem or trying to answer a question, and if I'm clear about what I'm trying to do, then my ability to choose relevant data becomes much more easier, and therefore I will just pick and choose what I want to do. And I think that's the only way that at least I would approach the problem, that If I'm very clear about what I'm trying to solve, then data doesn't become a burden for me, or I don't get lost in data.
I think we are all discussing about future of marketing. So let us, on this concept, future of marketing, let us do a SWOT. As a pharma company, what is important is that I will split that question into both of you. I think Sudarshan Jain, you can talk about strengths and weaknesses. So what strengths the pharma companies should have, couple of very important, and what weaknesses they should avoid, so that they will be more successful in the next 10 years in this. Whatever your thought process.
So the strength is marketing organization has to be very, very strong, right? We will also get into discovery phase going forward. And we have to learn the ability to market better, both in India and globally. Like say we developed very good vaccines, but we have not been able to market so well around the world compared to what it is there. So marketing skills. And in marketing, what will become very, very important is understanding the insights, because that is fundamental. And then what is the media we use, and the point which Alok was making, omni-channel and integrated marketing approach. That becomes very, very important. Weakness is we have to get into innovation mindset. Still, we are in a branded generic space. From a marketing point of view also, we have to build on business analytics, which is a core strength. I was in NMIMS today morning, and one of the things, and I'm with many of the educational institutions, what we need to do and build that skill, digital, or say, I will say business analytical skills, which is very, very important, and innovation mindset, that becomes very, very important.
Yeah, I think coming to opportunities as well as the threats which people can overcome. Yeah.
So I don't know, as far as opportunities are concerned, I don't know whether there will be any industry level opportunities. I think many of those opportunities will probably depend and will be relevant to a particular company. So, typically, if there are geographical opportunities or if there are therapy opportunities, so those will be specific to companies. Even options like OTC, etc., which might emerge as strong levers of growth for organizations. So those could be opportunities. But if I look at from an industry level, I think differentiation, I think could be a running theme across different segments that we engage with. So how does one differentiate ourselves when we interact with doctors? So that could be a very big opportunity. And somewhere I think not enough work is happening in that area, and we are choosing the easy way out, and therefore not looking different at all in front of the customer. So honestly, if I were to mask brand names on visual aids today and show it to doctors, I do not know how many doctors will be really be able to attribute that this communication is from this brand and this communication from some other brand. I don't think that's going to happen. That is because everything looks the same. So while we think that we are doing, a differentiated job for our brand, I think the opportunity really lies that how we can create an impact in terms of differentiation. Same thing is in terms of patient engagement. I think the pharma industry really doesn't engage with patients at all, and patients have moved several, miles ahead of in terms of their own awareness about and understanding about disease and treatments, etc. But the industry has always remained very insulated from patients. So how does one engage with patients? I think that could be a great opportunity in terms of driving growth. Opportunity, I think the big opportunity for us is in terms of people. How do we engage with our own employees? How do we make this industry once more very attractive so that we get the right kind of talent in? How do we get fresh talent, which is very different from what we conventionally recruit? Because the environment has changed around us. The way doctors are engaging with organizations have changed. So is there an opportunity to get a very different talent mix into the industry? I think that could be an opportunity there. Channel is a big opportunity for, so the entire, today I think we look at channel more from a discount perspective. So, you give some bonus offer, you give some special rate, and therefore you will be available on some online pharmacies and all that. But is there life beyond discounting, and is there life beyond bonus offers? I think, so the way FMCG engages with channel is very different than what pharma companies engage with channels. In fact, pharma companies never felt the importance of channel except on the last day of the month when you go and take some orders, So otherwise, or when reps go and meet chemists, it's only to get some kind of information about what's happening and who's writing what. But really, there is no deep engagement with the channel, whether it is physical channels or online channels. So those are, I think, a lot of opportunities that lie in these buckets, which companies can leverage. In terms of threat, I mean, the usual suspects are there, government policy and stuff like that. But I think those are going to remain, right? I mean, pricing is always going to be, around. I think governments all over the world drive down or try to drive down prices. So that will, it's a given. I think how we respond to some of the changes, is important, right? So, for example, UCPMP, you have now, I think there was some slide which I saw about this 194R. Okay, now, is it a threat or is it an opportunity? I think that's something that we'll have to decide, because the moment any of these regulations come in, the first reaction of the industry is that how do you beat the system? So we will call some people, अरे यार अभी 194 आ गया तो अभी कैसे करना है? So we are not looking at this as an opportunity to change our behavior. We want to continue what we are doing and try to find ways and means of beating the system. So I think that is something that we'll have to really question again ourselves. That so is it really a threat or is it an opportunity for us to change behavior and make ourselves more relevant in the doctor and patient's lives? I think that's something that at least I would strongly recommend. Easy for me to recommend now that I'm not directly engaged in the business part of things, but still I think it is important for how we look at this this whole area.
I think very, very good answer, that there are big opportunities available for the whole pharma sector in the future. And I think the threat, I think Indian Jugaad threat kind of thing we can definitely reduce. Sudarshan Jain, you have also seen the other part, being a head of IPA. What is important is that today there is a world of collaboration. The marketing also has to take an angle of collaborative approach, considering the government or social everywhere awareness. So what is your opinion about collaborative marketing?
We will see a lot of collaboration. In fact, that will be fundamental. So collaboration between companies, so voluntary licensing will become a very, very important power. Same brand marketed by 5 companies, research products. We'll see a lot of collaborations. Collaborations with diagnostics companies will become a very, very important thing, because diagnostic and marketing will become very, very important. Collaboration with medical devices companies will become very, very important. We have got a great example of Libre Pro, where you can monitor glucose levels 24/7, and it has got implication on treatment. And so we will see more holistic approach of marketing pharmaceutical products. There will be products which will be coming in combination with medical devices. There will be diagnostics companies which will become very, very important. There will be tech companies and marketing companies coming together, and can they market the products together at particular moments of time. OTC marketing will become a very, very important kind of thing. So collaboration will be an important hallmark going forward. Distribution collaboration. I will see a lot of companies together. It is a classic example of 14 companies together and working on the distribution automation down the line. And we will see a lot happening in that space. I couldn't imagine 5 years back that 14 companies collaborating together and working on distribution. So there is Reliance on one side, there is Tata's on another side, there is Pharmacy. And companies, and basically the approach is, how do we help the patient through the channel to make a difference? Yeah, that will be the starting point.
I'll just touch upon only one question, and then we can go to the audience, and you can keep in mind some questions for both the legends. One important point, Sujesh Vasudevan, is basically the brand acquisition, and as well as the corporate acquisitions are increased. And what will be the trend in the next 10 years in India?
I think if you see, growth of the industry for ages has been driven by, products, new products, etc. And so there was a phase maybe in the 80s and 90s when that was really fueling the growth of the industry. And then there was this whole phase of rapid field force expansion. So geographical expansion was driving the growth. Many of these avenues, I think, have started getting a bit limited because access to new molecules, new products, etc., at least for Indian companies, has been limited over time. And so also geographical expansion. Today you have field forces of upwards of 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 people, at least of the top companies. And which is, I think, prompting companies to look at fueling growth through acquisitions. So acquisitions could be to fill gaps that exist in their current strategic level, or just to acquire growth. And so from a acquirer side, I think this is what is driving the growth. And I feel that going forward, this is probably going to accelerate because companies need to demonstrate growth regularly, because that's what, especially for listed companies, I think that is something which is important to demonstrate to the investor community that they are capable of sustaining growths of the past. And therefore brand acquisitions or company acquisitions, I think, will acquire some speed, which is also prompted by, on the seller side, that why do sellers, or why have sellers opted to sell today? And there are multiple drivers of that behavior also, because there could be valuation attractiveness today. So many companies feel that the kind of valuation that you're getting today, some 6 times, 7 times, 8 times top line, and we have seen some recent deals which have happened at those kind of valuations, which are very attractive, and maybe proprietors are choosing to opt out at this stage and maybe take the capital and reinvest somewhere else. Or the challenge of next generation not being very interested in sustaining the business and doing, and taking that forward. I think those are also things which are prompting promoters to look at exit as an option. The third is there are a lot of companies which have come up in the last 5-10 years which have been fueled by private equity money. And when private equity looks for exits, I think those are the times when opportunities for acquisitions also come up. So I think there are multiple drivers, both on the acquirer side as well as the seller side, which will sustain this in future also. So I don't think that wave is going to come down. If at all, I think we'll see some acceleration over the next 3 to 5 years of people wanting to exit and other companies wanting to buy.
So like our medical representative gets 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes in the doctor chamber, so similarly we only got 1 hour spending time with the legends or stalwarts or role models of the
just one thing. So I hope this word legend is not a nice way of saying that we are part of the Margdarshak Mandal or something.
So it's a translation of that. Obviously part of that, but still Margdarshak. Yeah. Okay. So I think we quickly we can ask some questions so that yeah.
My question is to Mr. Sudarshan Jain. Sir, you spoke about need for India to look beyond genericization and pursue the discovery path. As I understand, for pursuing a discovery path, we need the entire holistic innovation ecosystem, which includes research-based educational institutes, research facilities supported by both industry and government, finances and the incentives to the researchers, as well as the startup ecosystem. Do you believe in India, is it possible or is it not late to set up an innovation ecosystem today? If it is possible, who should take the lead? Is it industry, is it government, and how should we approach it and get it done? Because we are for last probably 100 years dependent on only generics to industry survival. We call third largest pharmacy, but we still look for contract manufacturing and generic products to sustain the industry. So your take on this, sir?
What's your name, please? Sorry.
Girish Kulkarni.
Girish Kulkarni. Okay. Very interesting question and beyond marketing, right? So I will give an example, like maybe Sujesh and me, when we started, we used to import everything from the world, and 80% imports all the leading pharma companies or multinational companies, right? So when D.B. Gupta came to IIM Ahmedabad, I was there, and he said that he will be the largest in the world in TB. First, I couldn't believe it. Then C.K. Pilat, he used to teach me, and he said that, why don't you join and work together? And today, when I look back, and I was with Wharton's seminar yesterday, the great moment of pride for all of us is every third tablet in US is sold from India, and every fourth tablet in Europe is sold from India. The world is dependent on us for supply of medicine, right? I'm also proud of the fact that we brought the concept of affordable medicine in the world. Slightly it is beyond marketing, and that's why I started with society, Samaj, Bazaar, or Sarkar, right? Three interplay, and three forces are working together today to take this industry to the next level. I also feel very happy when I go to some of the global conferences. I was there in South Africa when they said that we are surviving because medicine from India. And they were like Dr. Hamid is treated like God. When the cost of HIV medicines was $2,000, he said that $1 a day, I will supply $300. And those are realities, and that reinforced my pride in this industry, right? Now the cost of innovation today, you must have heard that there is a product which has been launched for hemophilia, which cost $3.8 million. There is a product which has been launched for muscular dystrophy, which cost $2.8 million, right? We were there with the health minister. He said to us, जैन साहब आप एक्सपोर्ट करते हो शिप्स में और वो कहते हैं एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं एनवलप्स में. So unless we get to innovation, there is no choice for us. 2/3 of the market is innovation market, 1/3 is generic. Now if we have to go to the next phase, there is no way. The greatest threat to this industry is Vietnam भी बनाना शुरू कर देगा, China भी बनाना शुरू कर देगा, बांग्लादेश भी बनाना शुरू कर देगा. आपको innovation करना ही करना है, right? All the CEOs of Indian company, Glenn is there. Many of us say that he is investing very high on innovation. He is passionate about innovation. And there are all the entrepreneurs. We will see, that's the number one priority today, right? 4 areas which we are working with the government. Industry, academic collaboration, very, very important. Regulatory simplification. India में यदि आपको research भी करना है ना, तो आपको गवर्नमेंट से परमिशन लेना पड़ता है कि मेरे को रिसर्च करना है, विच इज़ द स्टेट ऑफ द नेशन, कि मेरे को आज डिस्कवर करना है कोई प्रोडक्ट, पहले गवर्नमेंट से जाके मेरे को इनोवेशन पे काम करना है, विच हैपन्स ओनली इन दिस कंट्री. सो वी आर वर्किंग विद द गवर्नमेंट. इट टेक्स 3 years फॉर अप्रूवल इन इंडिया compared to 1 year in US. It is easier to launch a product in US and innovate than in India. So first is industry academic collaboration, second is regulatory reforms, third is clusters of innovation. सैन फ्रांसिस्को, बॉस्टन, एक वहाँ पे मेडिकल कॉलेज भी रहता है, रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूशन भी रहती है, स्टार्टअप्स भी रहते हैं. कैन वी क्रिएट इनोवेशन क्लस्टर्स इन द कंट्री लाइक बेंगलोर, हैदराबाद, वहाँ पे मेडिकल कॉलेज भी रहे, रिसर्च. हमारा साइंटिस्ट यूएस में जाके रिसर्च करता है पर यहाँ पे नहीं करता. सो हाउ डू वी क्रिएट इनोवेशन क्लस्टर्स इन दिस कंट्री? एंड द फंडिंग, वी हैव बीन टॉकिंग, इफ यू रीड एनी मीडिया रिपोर्ट, we have been saying that innovation funding has to be there because it is risk-based business. आज कौन $1 billion कर देगा? Government का support. Journey is beginning. We have got also a great advantage of health and technology together. एक चीज़ जो AI को यदि combine कर ले अपना, AI का power और biology को और medicine को combine कर ले, we will be the center of affordable innovation in the world. अभी affordable generic medicine का है. Next decade, the focus is affordable innovation in the world. And what we are saying when we are talking of $120 billion by 2030, 3-4 innovations have to generate every year from India. That's a achievable kind of thing. There is a work, there are a number of trials which are going on for innovation by Zydus Cadila, Sun, Glenn, and we will see something happening. That's a wish. When we started, we should be the pharmacy of the world. Now we should not be only pharmacy, we should be discoverer for the world.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My name is Sharad Agrawal. First, I would like to say thanks to Mrs. Jaina to give us the opportunity to meet. I will not use the word legend, I will use the word guru. The gurus, those who have taught us about the marketing, because if I talk about Sudarshan Jain sir or Sujesh sir or Malik sir, but I always follow through LinkedIn only. Today I got the chance to come and attend your program. So my question to Sudarshan Jain sir, so you mentioned in the beginning of your talk that marketing is business and business is marketing. So my question is, what is your view about the increasing the abusive use of the drug in Indian pharmaceutical market, specifically if we talk about the antibiotics? Take an example in COVID time or even in non-COVID time if we talk about, if the patient is having the RTI, patient can just easily go to the chemist and buy any antibiotic, whatever the patient wants to buy it. Why I'm asking this question? Because if we talk about in Indian market, currently even the meropenem plus sulbactam is showing the resistance. But if we talk about the global part, they have kept the antibiotic reserve for their own patients. So what is your view on this? Second, do we have any role as a marketer to control this kind of abusive use of the antibiotics?
I will request Sujesh also to answer this question. I'm also part of some of the committees where we are talking of antibiotic resistance. It is a big issue. And the question is, first, the doctors prescribing right kind of antibiotics. Second is, in India, you can buy any antibiotic from the chemist outlet. Third is the pricing policy. वो टेट्रासाइक्लिन और ट्रामाक्सोल को प्राइस कम करते रहते हैं, तो हमारा फोकस हाई लेवल एंटीबायोटिक पे चले जाता है. बिकॉज टेट्रासाइक्लिन का यदि आप प्राइस रीफिक्सेशन कर देंगे तो इसको इतना कम कर देंगे, तो जहाँ पे टेट्रासाइक्लिन को ट्रामाक्सोल काम करता है वहाँ पे सेफोडॉक्सिन में पहुँच जाते हैं आप, राइट. There are issues, right, and some of the companies are taking it up, and it is a priority. I agree there is abusive use, and it is an issue which has to be tackled in. We will see changes taking place, but changes are called for, and changes have to be there in this area. I totally agree with you. You would like to?
Sir, no, I think the question is absolutely relevant. What role can industry play? Because I don't think the industry really encourages patients to go and buy. But the fact is, despite that, can the industry play a role? And I think industry can play a role in terms of educating the patients that this kind of behavior of self-medication is in the long run going to create problems for themselves. And so I think education could be one step which I don't think companies really pay much attention to, because maybe somewhere again there is this whole vested interest ki mera hi bik raha hai to main kyun isko band karun. So I think that's something which is happening, but I think there as a responsible industry and taking a leaf out of what Mr. Jain said of keeping the societal interests at heart, I think this is something that can be done. But something which is definitely in control of the industry is not launching some very funny combinations that the industry has launched, particularly in the field of antibiotics. I think that was definitely in the realm of responsibility of the industry. But if you look at the 90s and 2000s, all kinds of funny combinations of antibiotics came in the market. And that was not asked for by any doctor or by any patient or by any chemist or by the government. Okay, it was just the creativity of the pharma industry which very irresponsibly did some of this stuff. And that could have been prevented, honestly. But I do not know how much role we have in terms of discouraging patients, but I think there has to be an attempt made towards that also.
I think good. I think very good answer. Yeah, because when you see the data, many times from the data there are two antibiotics are written in the same condition. People try to combine it. Yeah, next question.
So 2 questions. Is it since we are talking too much about digitalization in the for future marketing, is it you are foreseeing any digital MR going forward? That is question number 1. Second is the consolidation of stockist and channel is happening now. In terms of, you can see the example of Ascent, Medica Bazaar and all these things are coming. So whole lot of consolidation is happening. You see any drastic change in terms of distribution and channel management in future?
See, on the digitalization, I think, again, digitalization is not the end of anything. I think it's the means to the end. And again, it will depend on how relevant digital strategy is to achieve the company or brand objectives. So I think there is a lot of undue pressure being built on marketing teams to somewhere fit in a digital strategy as part of the brand plan. And I don't think we should view it from that angle at all. I think I'll be extremely comfortable if a brand manager were to come with a brand plan which addresses the issues and challenges that the brand is facing and have a method of managing those challenges. And if digital is not part of that answer, it's okay. So I don't think brand managers and marketing managers need to necessarily have a checklist where digital is part of the marketing mix and therefore forcibly fit in. So I think digital is becoming more of a fashionable thing. People are just having some digital engagement with doctors, and because it is not done with the heart and soul into it, that's the reason why a lot of doctors are also not accepting many of these things. And eventually what will get blamed is that digital is not working. But I don't think it is digital is not working. I think the reason why digital was used for engagement was wrong in the first place itself. So if it is relevant, I think we should push for the digital engagement. If it is not relevant to the brand, or if it doesn't fit into the solution set, then I think there is no compulsion that every brand should have a digital approach or every company should have a digital approach. On the channel consolidation, see, I think it's very clear that it will happen. But the reason is, again, I think there is a lot of inefficiency in pharma distribution which has existed for years. Again, if I contrast this with, say, the FMCG business, one is, of course, FMCG number of companies itself is limited. But if you also look at the role that the channel plays in case of an FMCG and the role that the distributor plays, there are few distributors, but very large distributors. And they're extremely concerned about how they manage their working capital, how they manage their inventories and everything. In pharma, you have stockists and distributors who have 50 companies, 100 companies, 150 companies. They don't really know what is happening. So I think because of that inefficiency, it will drive consolidation. And today with technology being so much of a catalyst and facilitator, I think we'll see consolidation, because nowhere in the world, I think, you have a company dealing with 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 stockists. So while they may have a role to play, but I think we will definitely see emergence of large distributors who may have a network of their own stockists, but who are able to add value to the companies, who are able to provide transparency and visibility of what is happening. Today, one of the biggest constraints at least I felt and I constantly feel is, data that should be easily available to me as an industry is not available. It depends on, a lot of times the rep going to the, stockist and picking up a stock and sales statement, or the stockist sending a stock and sales statement by mail, and then some compilation happening, and, by the time that information comes, it's already a few days old. I think those are, areas where we will see consolidation, and there will be improvement, because of visibility, better inventory management, better working capital management, release of a lot of, stuck up capital that will happen. So consolidation is bound to happen because of the inefficiency, not because of somebody's got more money and therefore he's trying to consolidate. I think inefficiency is driving. I mean, wherever inefficiencies have existed, there has been some disruption, right? So I think the distribution area is something which is ripe for consolidation and disruption.
So I think last two quick questions, I think.
To the point that Mr. Kulkarni brought, and you said that we need to encourage innovation. I think in order for that to happen, we also need to change the mindset, and we have to be okay with failure. I think one of the things that I've seen in Indian pharma, I've been a part of 2 pharma companies, is anytime there's a small failure or one study does not work out, companies are quickly dismissing the program. So I think we need to have a culture that it's okay to fail, because unless we fail, we're not going to create innovation. So I think also that mindset needs to change. So just wanted to add that.
Yeah. Next.
Hello. Yeah, my question is in continuation to what Alok sir said, that my name is Rakesh Raina, that on one hand where we have a challenge of attracting the talent, but unfortunate part is the talent which is with us, the kind of coaching and grooming which used to happen has also deteriorated. So your opinion in terms of we'll keep on getting the same talent in future also, but the cultural deterioration which has happened over a period of time in hand-holding, coaching and caring for what is in our hand. Sir, in your opinion, don't you think this should also be one of the most important priorities for the organization to make it sure that we keep on nurturing, hand-holding and coaching to the people, teams which are with us?
Like, talent does not come from Mars, yeah. Talent exists in the organization, and the role of leadership is making common men do uncommon things, right? Right. I'm proud of every team member which I had opportunity to work. I learn every day and spread learning. So the point which you are making is, what we need to do is a curiosity and growth mindset. All of us need to find new answers to the new problems which are emerging. And reskilling, that culture, good leader, what he does, he creates curiosity, he allows failure if it happens, he makes sure that the person keeps on upgrading in the changing world, and he supports. He provides that environment. Psychological safety is a very, very important aspect. So we have got talent, good talent, right? Never say that my team is useless, time बदल गया, बॉस वही team है हर एक जगह, कोई फर्क नहीं हो उसमें. Give confidence, build the talent, empower them, and create an environment of learning, and the organization will flourish.
I think on this,
I believe strongly in it, right? That talent has to be nurtured by leaders, and leaders have to play that role of nurturing, building. There are problems. हम business में हर एक दिन problem आती है, पर कैसे करना उसको problems का opportunity.
I think this is a so much positive note. Here we will end the panel discussion. There are so many questions. I know that people are raising their hands, but so thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Mahesh, for conducting this session so very well for us. And a big thank you to Sudarshan sir and Sujesh sir for sharing your power-packed thought with us and adding so much of immense value to this discussion. Thank you so much, sir, once again. Sir, request you to please stay back on stage. May I please invite on stage Mr. Saif Qadri?
I would like to thank all of you. It has been a real pleasure. And Sujesh, such a great thing to be there with Sujesh today. It's a pleasure for me to be there today. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Let's give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Requesting Mr. Saif Qadri and Mr. Sushanta Kumar Jaina to please join us and felicitate our guest of honor with a memento, bouquet, and a shawl from the team Pharma in Future. Let's give a big round of applause for our true legends, ladies and gentlemen. A louder noise, everyone. Come on.
Hello. Yeah, I would personally like to thank Mr. Sudarshan Jain for having come here. I had requested him to, come here and I'm really honored that he, listened to my request and he made his presence over here.
Again, very good evening to all of you. We are at the conclusion of this meeting, but what we believe that it's not a conclusion of the meeting, it's a beginning of a new learning, long-term collaboration that we have initiated today. Because as Steve Jobs said, that learning is an ongoing activity and there is always one more thing to learn with us. So, and that's what the motto of Pharma in Future is. Because today we have learned about the importance of digital marketing in future, but as the legends have shared, that future holds much more than just digital marketing. There is product innovation, there is research, there is patients, and that is what we want to cover in our upcoming programs, one learning at a time, where we try to, cover all and encompass everything that the future holds for the pharma marketing teams. We would like to share the success of today's meeting with more than 250 registrations, and we are really, really overwhelmed by the kind word of encouragement that you all have shared during different breaks. It has given us a lot of encouragement, but at the same time, a lot of sense of responsibility to raise the bar, for our upcoming programs. And, on behalf of the team of Pharma in Future, I would make this commitment and promise to you that every time when you will attend a program, you will find it better than the last time. So that's a promise that we will work on. We would request you to follow us on LinkedIn and share your experience with the colleagues and share your thoughts, share your feedback with us, so that we make it more dynamic and we increase the value for everybody to learn and grow. Before we conclude, we would definitely like to thank you, all the speakers, panelists, and moderators, to share their experience and knowledge in a very engaging and interactive manner. We also would like to thank all the delegates for coming here on a Saturday and spending the whole day and having active participation, without which the conference obviously could not have been successful. We also would like to thank all the partners who have supported the program, including Lifecom, iMedic, InDigital, Medex, and our international partners, AHA, ADA. And last but not the least, the entire support team, the tech team, Ms. Ria, who has been, coordinating the entire event, the hotel staff. Everybody has been on their toes, and, a success of a program can only be as good as the team behind it. So we would request your continued patronage to Pharma in Future, and we hope and we sincerely believe that we will keep raising the bar and, bring out more value-added programs in the years to come. We look forward for joining you for networking dinner following this. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much.
So please give a big round of applause to each one of you. अपने लिए बस जोरदार ताली हो जाए. Thank you so much for joining us today. See you in the next edition of Pharma in Future next year.